Now let's go back to one of our top stories now. And the White House has denied claims that President Trump tried to shut down an investigation into his former security advisor's links to Russia. The claims were made in a memo written by sacked FBI Director James Comey. Joining me now is Ben Margulies, a research fellow at the University of Warwick in the UK. Ben, good to have you with us. So another day, another scandal. The Republican Senator John McCain has said that this is a scandal of Watergate proportions. What do you make of it?
It certainly resembles Watergate in shape. One of the charges against Richard Nixon was, of course, that he attempted to obstruct justice, specifically an FBI investigation into the Watergate break-in. And Nixon, of course, also fired the special prosecutor who was investigating him, Archibald Cox, in 1973. So it certainly looks a great deal like Watergate as it developed in 1973 and 1974. The key difference is that when Nixon was in office, the Democrats controlled Congress, and there was not quite the same degree of polarization in the electorate. But in terms of what is happening, in terms of the shape of the scandal, it certainly does resemble Richard Nixon in many ways.
Right, but it's unlikely to reach the same conclusion. I mean, people are talking about impeachment, but in reality, as you've pointed out, the Republicans are in control in Congress, and unless President Trump loses the support of all Republicans, unless they abandon him, he's not going to be impeached, is he?
Not in the near term, no. The Republicans control the House of Representatives, which decides whether to impeach the president, whether to charge him. And they'll continue to do so until the next elections, which aren't, until the autumn of 2018. Is very unlikely, unless Trump becomes extraordinarily unpopular, even more unpopular than he is now, that the Republicans would abandon him, especially since they want him to assist them on regarding their policy goals relating to tax, health care, and other matters. So it's unlikely that there will be an impeachment unless or until the Democrats retake the House, which can't happen for at least another 18 or 19 months.
Right, but in the meantime, there are very serious problems here. For one, there clearly are leaks coming from within the FBI. How serious is that? And can the president repair this rift between the presidency and the intelligence agencies?
Well, I mean, given his entire stratagem as a politician is generally to attack government, attack entrenched elites, complain that he's being persecuted by the media, by the made-up FBI investigation, and so on. So, I mean, to attempt to reconcile would cause him problems in terms of the political message and image that he projects. In general, added to that, you've got his mercurial kind of, I wouldn't go so far as to say unstable, but the very inconsistent manner of policymaking, his lack of concern for norms. All of these things make it very difficult for him to reconcile with a bureaucracy that runs on rules and enforcing laws. I don't see it happening. I mean, especially if he really is afraid of prosecution. Reconciling could expose him to a greater risk of being prosecuted. If he thinks that, of course, he's not going to reconcile. He's going to continue obstructing the law enforcement agency's work and complaining to the media that he's being persecuted.
And now you've got this extraordinary spectacle of Vladimir Putin offering transcripts of a meeting between Trump and the Russian foreign minister and a Russian ambassador to disprove these claims that President Trump shared classified material. So, whichever way you look at it, the Russians are getting involved with the presidency. Well, yeah, I mean, it's clear. It's clear that he, has some sort of connection with Russia, or at least, I don't know if it's necessarily clear or fully evidenced that there really was some sort of campaign. He has some sort of affinity with Russia, and the Russian government seems to believe
A, that Trump is good for Russian foreign policy, and B, that Russia's word is credible among Trump's supporters. So it's clear that through his actions, he has created some sort of nexus or permanent interest on Russia's part in his political welfare. I think that's correct, yes.
Ben, good to speak with you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Ben Margulies from the University of Warwick here in the UK.